Hey everyone! Today we are talking about ADLs. ADL stands for Activities of Daily Living. Activities of daily living are any activities that a person engages in every day in order to properly care for themselves. These activities can include bathing, walking, toileting, and even eating. Today we're focusing on the activity of eating. When it comes to eating, it's important to think about the different objects and properties that are needed in order to make this activity successful. Some of the objects needed for eating include a plate, different utensils such as a fork, spoon, a knife, a napkin, and of course, the foods that will be eaten for that meal. Certain foods are easier to eat than others, so I would encourage starting with finger food such as a sandwich or pizza. Next, you can try food such as soup or cereal that would need a spoon. And finally, try something such as chicken or steak that would involve a fork and a knife for cutting your food. Certain utensils are challenging to hold for some people, so I would encourage using a utensil with a wide handle that helps support for a better grip. There's also utensils such as a smart spoon that helps prevent shakiness of the spoon. All of these tools are incredible when it comes to making eating the most successful that it can be. Let's check out what else goes into the process of eating.
Wait, we can't eat in the bathroom. We have to go to the table. We can't eat in the dark. We have to turn on the light. Oh wait, we can't forget personal space. It's more appropriate to keep your hands to yourself, don't throw food at the table, and keep appropriate table manners. If I wanted to grade up, I could eat off of my lap. Social demands are important to look at because they may be necessary to participate in an activity. We need to look at social demands to know what is socially expected and socially appropriate in certain situations and activities.
Let's do it the right way.
Can you give me the plate? Thank you. So, moving into body functions, we are addressing the functions to kind of illustrate the demands that the patient endures during this activity. Depending on the patient's ability, this can place a greater challenge in the performance of this activity itself. So this would include attention, proprioception, taste, joint stability, and visual. So for attention, if we're paying attention to our plate, we're going to have a lot more success than if we're paying attention to other things. And we're probably not going to participate as much if we weren't paying attention. For taste, a lot of people get a lot of pleasure out of good tasting food. I am absolutely one of them. So we participate in the activity itself if we enjoy the taste of the food. For proprioception, it can be hard if we don't have this, because a lot of times if we don't know ourselves in time and space, we can almost bring it off to the sides, not actually being able to bring it to our mouths, which brings me into visual. If you're visually seeing it, you can visually watch it towards your mouth. Even though people who have visual disabilities, they are able to still do it because they are used to it, but it takes a harder demand and harder challenge to actually participate in the activity. Now for joint stability, it's actually very challenged for those who have Parkinson's because they have the shaking in their hands, and that can be very difficult when trying to put it in your mouth. Now moving on to muscular analysis, we're going to be breaking down the activity into muscle actions. That way the therapist can pinpoint the areas that the patient struggles in. So from there, the patient or the actual therapist will build a program to strengthen their weaknesses. So some of the muscle actions that are being illustrated in this activity are, as you see, we're shoulder flexion to reach our plate. We're already in elbow flexion. So for grabbing the actual utensils, we're going to have to medially rotate at the elbow. And we're going to have to flex the wrist to reach down and grab the utensils. We're going to have finger flexion to grab and thumb flexion to grab the actual utensils. And then we're going to have ulnar and radial deviation to bring and pull away. So these are the muscles that are kind of challenged and used in this participation. So it can be difficult if any of these are hindered by any way. And now I'm going to pass it on to performance skills.
Performance skills are small actions that are observed as engagement or support an engagement of occupations, in this case, eating. Lifting the food from the plate to the mouth is a motor skill required. Noticing and responding appropriately when time to eat or when you're full, that's required. I can't eat anymore. Noticing and responding appropriately also when it comes to cleaning your mouth with a napkin when needed. Whew, that was delicious. Expressing emotion appropriately when the food is good, that is also required. Or you can also thank someone for making your food for you. Activity analysis is important when working with a client. Knowing exactly what is needed in the steps in regard to the muscle actions and skills that you need in order to achieve eating will help you better understand how to adapt portions of the activity to meet the needs of every single person you meet.